Hey everybody, wanted to let you in on a speed session today. I've got a day where I'm going to do a little bit of speed work and thought it might be helpful to you guys to let you see what I do, and hopefully you'll be able to apply it to your speed training. So some of the mistakes I see in speed training is guys use too much frequency, so too often, and too much volume. I definitely fall into that category. If I've had any problems over the last few years, it's been overtraining. So what I like to recommend right off the bat is every 7 to 10 days, you're gonna go through a little protocol like this. So the flow of things today is I'm gonna go over to the gym, I'm gonna warm up with some mobility and stability exercises on the Rotax motion system. Hopefully by now you've seen me do a lot on that. I'm gonna work on my Proteus motion machine. So by the way, we're at Carmel Country Club, where I'm now the director of distance. Sweet title, thank you very much. And luckily we've got some room, there's nobody on the back tee today. So we're gonna let some rip. So the last time I did this was probably, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. So again, every 10, for you guys at home, 10 to even 14 days. Now, if you're a 70, 80 mile an hour swinger, you could probably get away with a little bit more frequency every 5 to 6 days. But just know the faster you go, exponentially the more force is going through your body. And by the way, you're gonna notice as well today that we are actually hitting golf balls. So this is a product, I don't even know if it's out yet. Hopefully it is, so I don't get in trouble. But this is the Hits, developed by my good friend, Eddie Fernandez. Three-time senior world champion, one of the best long drivers in the world, longest guys on the planet. And he's probably, I don't know how old he is, he's really old, 50, I don't know, he's really old. Old as dirt, I tell him that all the time. 53, 54? The advantage of this, we can weight it heavy, we can weight it, medium, we can weight it light, but we're actually hitting golf balls. I feel very strongly about that. For you guys at home, I get the question all the time with speed training. I'll use speed sticks. I think you need to be very careful with them, very sparingly, and you need to pick your spots. So this is where the volume and frequency come into play. There's two things to avoid with speed sticks. If your pattern is not functional, okay, if you're, for example, an over-the-top guy and you're casting, I don't think speed sticks will help you. And if you have injury problems, some dysfunction, that's where some speed sticks can come back and bite you as well. So I'm not saying don't use them, I'm just saying the vast majority of my training and what I would recommend is actually striking the golf ball. And this Hits has been really fun to work with because it lets me combine sort of both of those disciplines. This has turned into a Hits commercial, but I promise that's not the purpose. I just like training with it. So I think already, so we're gonna go over to the gym, we're gonna work some Rotax, work some Proteus, come back here, and then I'm gonna show you guys kind of how to conduct a speed session. So we're gonna start with a little bit of Rotax. So before I start to go hard, I wanna warm up some of these rotational patterns, and I use Rotax to do that. Rotax is gonna knock out mobility, stability. If you've seen me at all, you've seen that I do that a lot. So before I start to go hard, I want to do some mobility, stability work, turn some of this stuff on. So we're gonna do that with a Rotax. It's a little routine I do that's 5 exercises. I'll probably release a video on it later. It's called the wall routine. If you've purchased any of my fitness courses or done any Rotax seminars with me, this is like my favorite routine to do on the Rotax. Compelling stuff. Just do one per thing because then you confuse yourself.
Yeah. This is pure cinema. I would watch this video.
Alright, so we warmed up a little bit rotationally. Now what I want to do, same thing with you. We want to start lighter and then increase the intensity a little bit. So we kind of want to go from slowest to end up when we're actually speed training, go fastest. I'm going to do some work on my Proteus motion machine right out here. Nothing crazy, I don't want to burn myself out, but like if it was a workout day, I'm doing 8 reps as hard as I can. I might do 4 today, like 85% intensity. I want to feel some of that load, feel some of the force, feel some of the speed, and then shut it down so I'm still fresh when I go out to the range. it's important. I like to warm up with irons. I warm up hitting short irons, wedges, the whole shot. I'm fresh, I'm warm up. I guess I could go straight to the driver because, I mean, as you saw, like, we definitely got the body moving with the Proteus. But I want to establish kind of center face contact and a good smash factor first, and I like to kind of work up the bag to do that. It's not a technical day, it's a speed day, but I still want to pay attention to setup and kind of the form generally overall. So I'll work like 9-iron up to driver and just try to kind of push the ball down the fairway, get myself ready to go fast. So I'm really taking my time with this. This is into a 1-iron now. I'm just hitting a few shots. I want to develop good rhythms and tempos, ideally. And hit some draws, hit some cuts before I get in the driver. And that's just me, because, you know, another mistake, I don't want to go ham right off the bat. I want to kind of work into speed. And again, even though I'm warmed up, when I'm swinging the club, I want to let the body warm up a little bit more naturally. And injury is going to happen when you do too much too fast. So it's a nice hot, humid day. I want to get lathered up, and then, you know, the last 15, 20 minutes, then really send it. But I want to make sure I'm loose. Okay, and that's a very important part of this process. Okay, that one's just... All right, so last feel I have with my play driver, 45.5 inches. And then I've got the hits at 48. That's still competition length. I don't know how much. I don't want to stay in shape in case I want to do any hitting. So I'll warm up with this, maybe 5-10 balls, and then start sending it with the hit. Okay, so let me explain the 3 strikes game. I've hit about 5. I'm pretty much warmed up. So 3 strikes game. We're gonna hit our first ball. It's your normal, it's your fairway finder. It's your drive. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the ball speed and I'm gonna look at the club head speed. Okay, and then every shot after that has to be higher in ball speed and club head speed. Now, you can play with either ball speed or club head speed, but the idea is if your first one's 160, then you've got to be 161 or above. If it's below 160, it's 1 strike. When you get a strike, you kind of take 30 seconds, catch your breath, walk around, come back in, and repeat the process. You still have to be above 160. If you go below 160 again, it's another strike. You get 3 strikes. So we're gonna play this game, and what I like to do when I have the technology available is use ball speed and club head speed. Okay, if the ball speed is lower but the club head speed is higher, we'll call that a foul ball. Okay, and if the number's the same, if it's 160 and then it's 160, that's a foul ball. If both are lower, that's a strike. That's the way I modify it, and that keeps the volume. Now, if it's a heavy training day in the middle of the season, I might play 3 outs. Okay, today we're gonna play 3 strikes. So what this is going to get you to do is if your max ball speed is 170 and you've hit 170, you've got to find something. I don't care where it goes, but you've got to find something in you to get above 170. So it's going to push your upper limit. And if you do like a clinic with me or with what we're going to try to hone in on is what's a power source for you. Is it lifting the lead heel more, rotating the right hip, hands faster on the downswing? And so that's kind of your power well. So this game is going to have you tap into that, dig into that. So I'm going to start with just a fairway finder. Okay, first fairway finder, ball speed was 202. All right, now again, this is not meant for ball speed. 202 is pretty good with this club. So I'm going to work off of that 202 mark. So now we've got to be faster than 202 on the next one, or it's a strike. 204, oh my God. All right, so my first 3 were, I think, a 200, 202, 203, 204. That's 4, not 3. So obviously, the more we get into it, the harder it gets. Now, don't do what I'm doing when you're doing this game. I want you to stay in the zone. If you get a strike, then you can take a drink, talk to your buddies, whatever. So you want to ride that wave and then come out of it and ride that wave again. And keep your intensity into it. All right, that's 202, that's strike one. So, as suspected, I came and talked to you guys. You nerds pulled my attention off the ball, and I got a strike. So don't do what I did. Like I said, stay in it. When you get a strike, come out of it. But that would be strike one. One, two. All right, so again, one of the reasons that we're gonna look at club head speed too, I'm pushing myself to do crazy things, and I'm trying to find some speed. Once you get up high enough, like a mile an hour, your personal best, you're gonna have to reach into the well and try some stuff. So that probably means missing the face a little bit. So I wanna, if the club head speed higher, I wanna keep going, right? It's not until, for me, the way I like to play the game, if the club speed's lower and the ball speed lower, that's a strike. All right, so that was, I had a 3 mile an hour jump to 207, really hit the middle of the face. So now my job's really hard, so I'm gonna have to try some goofy stuff to try to, right? I wanna maintain the smash factor, but I gotta be 208 or above here. I think it's a little high in the face. It's 210. So now in the position, I just went 210. That's gonna be really hard to beat. So now I literally, you know, this is kind of the, you gotta try to swing like a monkey face. I do, like not literally like them, but you really gotta go. Have your partner kind of slap you a little bit. Slap me, Ben, just slap. Okay, and now that didn't help. So we'll try. Off the heel. That was good club head speed though. All right, so 2 strikes. We're 0-2 in the count, you know, but we don't, this is not like avoiding the strikeout. This is modern baseball. Swing for the fences no matter the count, right? So 210's the number to beat. Again, we got club head speed, so I'm gonna swing as hard as I possibly can. Hopefully I have the club head speed and the ball speed to stay in the game. But this is keeping the volume, the intensity's high because you're competing against yourself, really challenging yourself. But the volume's gonna be low because you have 3 strikes and that's it. And that's really what we wanna do with speed training, is you don't wanna sit out here and hit 50 drivers kind of sub-maximally. You wanna get to, if you're 170 on the course, you want to get to 180 out here. Touch that speed, shut her down, and let yourself recover. And that's what this game helps us to do. Okay. Again. All right, so let's say that was strike 3, just got me. Not a bad little workout. So here's the kicker. I started at 200, ran it to 210. Now I'm gonna end with another fairway finder. Hopefully that fairway finder bumps up 2 or 3 miles an hour. And then what I'm gonna do after that is cool down. So especially if you play competitively, if you're just a long driver, whatever, okay, but you play competitively, I want you to wrap your speed sessions in some normal shots, okay? So yeah, I got out here and I actually worked on speed, swing like a monkey for a minute. Now I'm gonna hone it back in. Hit some knockdown 8 irons, some draws, cuts. And it's a great way to cool down as well. So I'm gonna hit my fairway finder. All right, so fairway finder at the end is exactly what we want. It's 203. So I took my normal number. It was 200 to start. The last one, I didn't even really hit it great, but that was 203. So I upped my average, bumped it up. Now what I want to do is hit some normal shots, get in some normal clubs, hit some wedges, hit some mid irons, hit a normal driver, and kind of end my practice session with a little cool down. So the other important thing too, we're on mats today, but if you can get on grass and actually hit some shots off the turf, You know, with the driver, especially, you saw some of the swings, I'm low pointing, woo, back here. Okay, so you want to get in the rhythm of finding the turf, finding the ground again with your cool down, some of these short irons. So hit off grass if you can. All right, you hit a couple irons. Last thing I'll do is just hit a couple normal drivers, learn how to control it. We went out of control for like half an hour. Now let's try to use some of that speed and hit some fairway finders, find some fairways, and then use some of that speed that we've been working on. Okay, so all done for the day. I don't know, we probably hit, you know, Bennett probably, I had 25 balls, 30 balls, but worked the intensity level up. Now, if I was in season, in competition, building volume, yeah, I'd probably play 3 outs rather than 3 strikes. But that amount of volume, I feel, is probably enough to try to maintain speed. And especially if you play for a living or you're not a long driver, it's actually probably plenty of work. I think you guys are gonna be very surprised how little you can get away with speed-wise. And yeah, I think you wanna keep your volume low and your frequency low. So I think that every 7 to 10 days is a real sweet spot if you're a guy that plays 3 times a week, 2, 3, 4 times a week. If you wanna push it, yeah, you could do that every 5 days. But I think that the thing that I see over and over again is this guy says, I'm gonna start speed training, I wanna get faster. They grab the sticks, go 3, 4 times a week, every other day. That's too much. It's gonna break down your nervous system, in my opinion. And unless you're very, very well trained, I don't think you're equipped to handle that amount of volume. So 3 strikes game, to summarize everything. We warmed up. We go slow, medium, power with the Proteus, and then fast with you're actually playing the game. We don't want to go straight to speed. Okay, we warm and prime the body up, get it ready to rotate, and then execute at the end. The main event is those 25 swings that you're gonna make, pushing that ball speed as high as you can. So I was 210 today. I would love to, if I did this 7 days from now, have a goal of 211 and just try to, and if I don't hit that, it's not the end of the world. Now, if I 4 weeks in a row and below that, I'm gonna maybe change up some things in my training. But if you have a goal of doing this, let's say you do this 6 times over the course of 8 weeks and you bump up 6 miles an hour, then I think you've done a great job, and you can go 6 to 10 miles an hour in that time frame, and that's sustainable ball speed. We're not talking about, you know, sometimes with the speed sticks you get a 4 or 5 mile an hour bump, but is that really usable on the course? Is that really your pattern? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. That's a video for later. And again, not knocking the speed sticks, there's a time and place for it. But actually getting out here, practicing going fast is really invaluable. Remember, if you go out and miss a bunch of 3-footers, you're gonna go to the putting green and you're gonna work on your putting. But so many people who come here, I've lost distance, my buddies are hitting it by me. Well, when's the last time you practiced distance? Never, or maybe 20 years ago. So keep this very simple. If you get out and practice distance, you're likely to start hitting the golf ball farther. If you need help with this, I'd love to help you. We're on Scaleless, we can do swing analysis, have some online content for you guys with courses, and we're gonna try to keep these videos coming. So best of luck with the 3 strikes game. Leave some comments, let me know how it goes. Let me know any questions you have, would love to help.